All right. Good morning. Hello, everybody. Lovely to see you all. Lovely to see new people, as always. And let's go straight into the superpower to start with. So take a deep breath, close your eyes, or keep them open if you prefer. And go into your superpower state, however you normally do that. So by repeating your word or phrase, or using your new anchor, or imagining hugging your subject. And feel that feeling, that physical feeling in your chest or solar plexus. And if you can't quite connect with that, just start thinking about all the things you love about your subject, the reason you love them, and all the details. Very good. Now imagine that ball of light or energy from your chest, your solar plexus, expanding. Feel your heart expanding. And allow that light or energy to spread down to your toes, up to the top of your head, and out to your fingertips. So you're now full of that light, that energy. And fill each of the cells of your body with that same light, that energy. Think of each cell as a little individual creature, and love them just for existing. Very good. Now think of the little you, yourself as a child, any age, and fill that little you with that same light, that energy. Love that child just for existing, no matter what. Good job. And allow that light or energy to overflow from that little you and fill your whole childhood with that same light, that energy. Notice the power that that little child has now, that comes from inside them. And allow that light to shine into any darkness throughout your whole childhood, loving it all anyway, no matter what. And feel the power of that. Good job. And now allow that light or energy to fill everyone in this group, from the tips of their toes to the top of their head and out to their fingertips. Love them just for existing. And then feel your heart opening even more to receive that love from everyone else. Feel the energy of that. Feel the energy filling you of that pure, unconditional love. Good job. All right, you can open your eyes if you haven't closed. And so we're going to go around as usual to each person to find out how you're doing, if you have any questions and if you have any targets for today. And again, just a reminder for any new people that if you haven't got your camera on, I'm going to assume that you want to be incognito, so I won't come round to you. But if you would like to speak, just unmute yourself, or you can put it in the chat. If you do put anything in the chat, if it's private to me, I won't say your name. If it's in the public to everyone, and you haven't said you can use my name, I won't use your name in case you want to stay incognito. So if you're happy for your name to be used, just say so. All right, so starting with Sue. Hi, Sue. Welcome. Lovely to have you join us. How are you today?
See you again.
It's lovely to see you too.
Yeah, I mean, like I was just thinking about, beyond this, what's happening now, confidence to move forward into what I'm passionate about.
Good.
And this morning I made a suggestion, not made a suggestion, I spoke to my husband about maybe what I should do is just go out with my camera in the mornings and take pictures of people, because we can only walk from 6 to 9, but the sun only comes up sort of like around 7:30.
Right.
So from 7:30 to 9 to go somewhere and just take pictures of people in our little village, and maybe put it on the Facebook page and suggest that, like say, does anybody mind if I do that? If you don't want me to, just say no, thank you. And then post them up once they're edited on the community page.
Yes.
And then I go like, oh my God, I can't do that.
Oh, okay. So so when you say, oh my God, I can't do that, why do you think you can't do that?
I'm just small fry.
Oh, okay. There's a little program that we can clean up. All right. So first of all, I have to say that your hair looks beautiful. I've never seen it that long. It looks lovely.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And
thank you.
You're welcome. And so I would say definitely before you do anything then to change that program.
Yeah, so that's I've been trying, hey, and I sort of felt I was getting there just before lockdown, but now it's gone.
Okay, all right. So we'll add it to the target list for today, if you could, Steve. And then in addition to that, of course, ask yourself, how do you know you're small fry? What makes you small fry and someone else not? Someone else big fry or medium fry?
Because they all know each other and they're all sort of like connected and there's a buzz going, and I'm not part of that.
Okay, and what do you think is stopping you from being a part of that?
I never have been a part of a group, I suppose.
Okay, very good. So let's pin that for the moment because there's something there. And then the other thing is, haven't you already won awards anyway, even though you're not part of that? What you're describing there? Okay, so logically and using your conscious mind, intellectually, you know that that's not the reason, because you wouldn't have won anything if that was the case, if that was a prerequisite.
Yeah.
Right? So that's that. So that's addressed the conscious side of it. So now let's look at the subconscious side of it. So what's wrong with being part of a group?
Nothing. I would really like to be, but I never have been.
Okay. So what would you need to do you think, to be a part of the group? What does it take to be part of the group?
Wow. I don't know, I think it was always because of sort of like a bit of a sheltered upbringing. I mean, I'm just saying, because then I got sheltered upbringing because I had red hair and white freckly skin. And so I was just sort of like a bit of a freak, Yeah.
Okay. So there's probably certainly a reference. So going back to your childhood and making sure that you were always part of a group. They flocked to you. So the group, in fact, you didn't have to go and join a group. The group formed around you. People were drawn to you from very little. You always had lots of friends, lots of attention, lots of friends, lots of praise and that kind of thing. And what I would do is add in rewriting your parents so that they were photographers and they were...
You've done that before, hey?
Yeah, have you? Is it still there?
My grandfather was, yes.
Good. So that's good. And then as a little one, you were the youngest photographer in the country.
Okay.
Youngest published, or whatever you use for photography, the youngest little photographer to have an exhibition on. And everybody was amazed. You were interviewed and, the press was going, she's so young and look at this. It's the work of a professional.
Yeah. That seems far-fetched, like what Katrina was saying in one of the things that I was watching, that that just is like a little bit too divorced from reality. And then I was listening to what you said about that your subconscious doesn't know that.
Because
and
nothing
I
is
really battled to break through that thing.
Okay, so let me put this to you. How realistic are dinosaurs right now?
No, not really. Except
Not at all.
toy.
But if you watch Jurassic Park, have you seen Jurassic Park?
It doesn't really interest me. I haven't seen it. I've seen pictures of it.
So have you ever seen any scary movie?
Not many, no. I mean, long ago when I was young, I watched, oh my God, The Exorcist.
Oh, okay, good one. So when you saw The Exorcist, were you frightened or were you just going, it's nonsense, this could never happen?
I was like this most of the time and going.
Exactly. And even though it's not realistic, right?
Yeah.
And this is the same. So
Okay.
even though it's not realistic, your brain and body don't know the difference. They will still react the same.
But to get that voice in their head that goes, oh, come on, man, get real.
Yes. So what is that? Whose voice is that?
The world's voice. It's like other people.
So in your childhood, whose voice is that? Come on, get real.
I don't know.
Okay. So how were your parents and grandparents about things that were unrealistic?
Well, I've just come up with a thing, you know, like, well, I was brought up with very religious grandmother and father and mother, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
And they spoke about God all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, this might trigger some people, and that was something that I couldn't get my head around, you know, like you talk about God as he's a person,
mm-hmm.
but he's not a person.
Okay.
So it was, but yet they spoke about God as a almighty force, which I like now I can sort of like comprehend it all, but as a child I'd go like, what the hell?
So maybe that's where it comes from.
Oh.
So what's wrong with them believing that God's a person?
Yeah, I know that they didn't, but it was just sort of like this whole.
But even if they did,
what is wrong with it?
Wrong with it? Mm-hmm.
Well, because still bad things happened when God was meant to make everything right.
Okay, good. So where's that feeling in your childhood of everything's supposed to be good, but bad things still happen?
Okay, now we go to that little boy that was shot, which I've changed, but that's immediately.
That's the first thing that came. So what's left of that experience, that memory? Anything? So when you think of that memory of that little boy being shot, what's there?
I just have a picture of him that we did that thing with long ago.
And what's the picture?
Well, just him smiling and.
Okay, good.
You know, just being fun.
And so anything left around that? Any negative, either visual or feeling or sounds or anything at all?
No. I wouldn't say so, no.
All right. So then I'm not going to go too much longer with this, but what I want to say is follow that thread. So grab that memory and what else comes up, even if it's not negative, what's there. So I'll give you an example. A client I worked with had something wasn't changing, and I asked her what's the first thing that came to mind, and it was a memory she'd already changed. And she changed whatever it was to some flowers, a field of flowers. But there was one piece it was just a piece of a wall in the middle of these flowers. And that piece just didn't change. So it wasn't a negative thing. It was just didn't seem to fit in. And when I asked her, what is that? What comes to mind when she looks at that piece of wall? It was another memory from a completely different time in her life, childhood. And it had nothing to do with a wall. But it came to mind, we changed that, and then we went back to this other memory, and it was all flowers. So we don't, it makes no sense of that. But so you're looking for something that doesn't quite fit in with the new memory. So I'm going to leave that with you to have a look for it and see if you can find that.
Okay, cool.
All right. And so, but in the meantime, we will target, Steve's got your target on the list there. All right. Thank you, Sue.
Thank you.
And welcome. It's lovely to have you with us. And Tina, How are you today?
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm okay. I'm okay. What I would like to target is like when I'm waking up and I start to realize I am in this real world, I kind of feel fear.
Okay.
I don't panic. I'm not like, oh my God, but I feel my stomach in my body. I just realize what's happening. I feel something in my body, kind of fear. So I don't like that feeling.
Of course. Okay. So let's look at that. So when you wake up and you realize you're in this world, how do you know you're in this world? What's the first thoughts that come into your head that tell you you're in this world?
I mean, I'm thinking like, okay, when I wake up, I try to concentrate on good memories or gratitude, but then start to come, it's like, oh, that virus.
The virus.
I cannot go out, and it's like, oh, it's beautiful world, but it's like it's something you cannot do much.
Okay. So let me ask you this. Have you ever been to an airport?
Yes.
Good. And this is for everybody. So if you've ever been to an airport, and have you ever had a plane delayed?
Yes, I had.
Right. And so how did you feel when the plane was delayed?
It was okay. They took us to the hotel. We sleep in the hotel. The next day we took the plane.
Very good. So you never thought, I'm never going to leave this airport. I'm here for the rest of my life.
Oh,
right?
no, I never thought like that.
Right. So this situation is the same. Whatever happens, we're in an airport and the plane has been delayed. And it may not be the nicest airport, and we may not be able to go to the beach because there's no beach in the airport.
Yeah.
And we may have to stay in the airport because in order to we don't have a visa to go out and sightsee. So now, it gets delayed and it gets delayed again, and maybe we have to catch a different plane or whatever, but there's never any doubt that we're going to leave the airport and end up at our destination, right? That's the way to think about this. So when you wake up tomorrow morning and you think, the virus and I have to get out, I can't go out, remind yourself, the plane has just been delayed. So what am I going to do in the meantime while I wait for the plane? I'm not going to sit here and talk and think about how terrible it is that the plane's delayed, and that I'm going to think, right, well, where am I going to have dinner? I wonder if there are any movies on, what books can I read?
Yes, of course, I'm busy all day. Like I'm really busy. I don't sit and think, oh my God. No, but the moment when I wake up and I realize,
yes,
I just feel that ugly feeling.
That's it. So there's two things there. First of all, so in the morning when you wake up is the time to remind yourself, I'm busy all day. And whatever you're going to do that day. So I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And this is not forever. Things are always changing apart from anything else, but certainly this is not forever. It cannot be sustained forever. So it's, and the way we each experience it, no matter what the governments decide, no matter what the rest of the world is doing, the people around you even, how each individual person experiences it, it depends on ourselves, depends on what's going on inside us, what we're thinking about, what programs are back there, and of course, what chemicals are being produced. That's all. That's the only thing that ever affects any of us. Now, it doesn't feel that way. I get that completely. But that's consciously, you need to remind yourself. So when you wake up in the morning, as that thought comes, the world, the virus, I can't go out. Don't tolerate that. No, that's, this is just temporary for the moment. It's like this. And so what will I do today? Let me plan my day. How can I make waiting at the airport more fun, more enjoyable, less boring, less stressful, whatever it is? That's number one. The second thing, of course, is think about, so that feeling, waking up and remembering the situation. Whatever that feeling is, where in your childhood did you have that feeling? Where did you have that feeling of remembering something bad?
I already have, when you were talking, I have,
Okay.
but it's not as used to be.
Yes.
That feeling is not that strong like used to be before, but there is some, because this is not one memory. This is a years, I will say 15, 20 years general.
Yes, and you won't be alone in that. There's a lot of us have had things like that that have lasted practically the whole childhood or whatever. So of course change that. So during this session, send love to it. Shine your superpower into whatever that is that lasted for 15 to 20 years, and then change it to the opposite, positive and empowering.
Just a quick little chime in here. As somebody that also woke up, for a lot of years in that place of fear, that I'd have maybe 10 seconds of like waking up time, and then the fear would hit, that almost sometimes paralyzing fear. So one of a little practical thing that you can do is give yourself time at night and set the intention before you're going to bed. So as you're going to bed, put yourself in that superpower state and set the intention that this is how I'm going to wake up tomorrow morning. So you're giving the command basically to your subconscious and saying, this is the state that I'm going to wake up in tomorrow morning. Do something different. So there's a little technique by Mel Robbins. It's the countdown. So set the intention that I'm going to get out of bed within 5 seconds. And as soon as you wake up, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, feet hit the ground. So you're not laying there soaking in the negative neurochemicals. You're getting up, you're taking action, you're doing something different. So those are just a couple of little practical things that you can do along with everything else that Odille said.
Yeah, actually, I don't go like thinking about it. I usually going for my childhood memory. I go from beginning, my grandmother, and I start to thinking, but I'm like losing focus, and I'm there, and I'm coming back, and I'm coming back, and it's like 1 hour. I can't even go to the half because constantly my mind is distracting me to putting me to different place.
Tina, for that hour, what are you doing physically during that hour? Are you staying in bed or are you getting up?
No, I'm staying in bed and I try to think about my childhood, but then I just get up and I can't do it anymore. It's like nonsense. I have to go and do something.
Yes. So that's what Steve's actually saying is instead of lying in bed trying to fix it, get up straight away.
Yeah.
And he's talking from experience. So he had that.
Yeah, that's what I usually do because it doesn't work.
But don't even wait. So you wake up and get straight up. Wake up, get up, and then while you're doing whatever else you do, while you're brushing your teeth or whatever you do in the morning, allow yourself to think of the new childhood memories while you are doing physical things, while you're doing whatever you normally do in your morning routine. Once your happy coffee arrives, like Steve, you'll get up out of bed and have that first thing, and that will help. But in the meantime, do your morning routine and at the same time be thinking about your new childhood memories and that. Does that sound good?
I never remember. It's like I brush my teeth, I say, oh, I didn't think about that. And all the time, I just don't remember.
So here's the thing, put little notes for yourself. Put a note on the bathroom mirror. Put a note next to your bed, or put something next to your bed, like if you've got a teddy bear or, whatever, put something next to your bed that as soon as you open your eyes and you see it, you remember, oh yes, I must get up straight away and I must do the childhood memory. And put the notes all over. Put the notes on the coffee machine or whatever you have in the mornings, on your hairbrush, put one there so that and then once you've done that for a while, you'll have mapped those new neural networks and you'll be doing it automatically. It just takes reminding to begin with. Does that sound good?
Yes, thank you.
Good job. Thank you, Tina. Good job, you. All right. And Wanda. Hi, Wanda. How are you today?
Good. I have a tip for Tina.
Yes.
Just get Alexa, and Alexa will tell you what to do at a time. 7 in the morning, Alexa will say, get up, Tina, stop thinking like that. That will work. Alexa helps a lot.
Very good idea, yes.
She's already talking. Alexa, stop. Last night, I have a little comment. Last night, when I was going to bed, I was telling myself, I can't believe you don't do any homework. And you participate in this meeting and you don't do the homework. And then I said, oh, wait, I need to send love to myself.
Good.
So I started sending love to myself for not doing the homework.
Good.
And then I realized that even though I am not doing constantly the homework, I have taken out so much out of participating in this group. And I have so many tools and reference from the other participants that they will pop my mind if I have that situation. So also when remember my loop?
Yes.
So I haven't fallen into the loop, but as soon as something comes to my mind that is negative, I'm saying you have to remember you have to send love. And so I'm taking that with me, even though I'm not doing the homework. But I'm getting little things to do, and I also have found myself when a friend or my family is telling me stories about stuff that is bothering them. Like my sister, she's in Dominican, and the mosquito are killing them. So I told them yesterday, send love to the mosquito. They say, no, go home. So I want to use that as a target today, that there are mosquitoes all over the place, and they have a lot of trees.
Right.
So since they're not going to send it, I want to put that as a request to send love to all those mosquitoes that are killing them there. So that's it.
Good job, Wanda. Steve, you okay to add that? Very good. So fantastic. Thank you, Wanda, for that. And we'll definitely add that target. And well done. So you might also want to look at the homework thing of, when you feel that, because some people don't do the homework and don't feel bad about it, or it doesn't, it means nothing to them. Some people feel bad about it. Some people will feel frustrated. Some people will feel, I don't want to bother to do the homework. So the reference for that. So think about what it means to you about when you haven't done the homework, and then where in your childhood is that same feeling. And it may or may not be to do with homework.
Okay.
Right? And then you change that to the opposite, positive, empowering. Good job. Because, I mean, the great thing about this is no one's checking on you. No one even knows if anybody does the homework or not. So it's entirely for your own reference. Very good. Katrina, hi. How are you today?
Hi. Yes. Well, I have done my homework.
Good.
Okay. So I think it's best if I just read it. Is that okay?
Of course.
Yeah. Okay, what I've written down here. It's amazing just by going to a funeral what it will bring up for you. Remember I said I was going to a funeral?
Yes.
So the funeral, the woman, the partner's comments, 3. Okay?
Right.
And this is basically me talking to me in this. And then what do we do with it? Okay. So I see her glammed up with a slim, sleek figure. Oh, she looks really well. Then the partner goes, oh, look, there's Zoe. And I'm saying to myself, I had already seen her. Yes, I see her. And I must be saying this with resentment or jealousy.
Mm-hmm.
I want the conversation to be dismissed, stopped. It's like, here we go again. I've made an effort to look good, feel good. And in that instant, she was able to take that away from me. She's getting all the attention, which is my attention. She's getting praised by me, but I'm not praising me. You have just told me you like her look better than my look. And then something you said, I don't love the fact that I think more of her than myself, and I don't like the fact that she is better than me. And then down here at the bottom, if you ignore me, it means you don't acknowledge me. And I think the end of the thing is, I want to be recognized by me. Is that true?
Yes. Well, partly. So you're on the right track there. So good job for that work. That's really good. Now, what you want, so yes, recognized by you, but before you can do that, you need to change the childhood memory so you're recognized by your parents, because that's where we learn, right? So we learn everything about who we are and how the world works from how we're treated as babies and children. So that's why we always go back to that. So when you were a child, little or bigger, whatever, anytime during your childhood, were you, and I know I've got an idea straight away of where this could be coming from, but for everybody else, when you were a child, were you recognized and acknowledged and praised in the way you wish you were now? By both parents.
Was I recognized? Well, you see, that really doesn't, that's not getting bullseye, as in,
okay,
I'm getting no information from.
All right, so let me ask you this. When you think of your mum, when you were a child, how was she with you? What was the relationship like there?
Well, probably. It was non-existent in that
There you go. That's where it is. That's where it is. So what you want to do is, so your subconscious still has references that whatever it means about you, that your mum wasn't fully focused on you, kind, compassionate, loving, affectionate, thrilled to see you, encouraging, uplifting, supportive, all of that. Because what all of that means to the subconscious of a child is, I'm safe, I'm worthy, I'm loved, and all of that. So when a parent is distant or cold or focused on other things and all of that, that's life. For, you know, a lot of people, we can't all focus on one child completely all the time, but depending on what other references are there, it can form that foundation that proves other people are more important than I am. Now, if I remember correctly, you had 4 brothers, right?
3.
Wow. 3 brothers. You had 4 of you. You had 3 brothers. And how was your mum's relationship with them?
She had a favorite.
Right.
The oldest, yeah, she favored him for some. I didn't like him. We never got on.
Okay. So there you go. So Zoe was your brother in drag. So Zoe was possibly representing that oldest brother that your mum had that close relationship with. He was her favorite. Now that situation is being reproduced in your adult life all around you, whatever's going to play the role of that. Does that make sense?
But as a child, I felt that she, when they were boisterous with me, she did actually defend or protect me.
And that's good. So that's a separate piece of data, and that's good. Keep that. But now the rest of it, the bits where you wish she had shown you more affection, more attention, you needed to be, because the ideal, remember, is that you were an only child and both parents were fully focused on you. You were the most important thing in the world. There was nothing more important than you, your safety, your happiness, right? And that strong connection and relationship between you and both of your parents. Does that make sense?
And when that's sorted, I'm sorted.
You're certainly a lot closer. But the more evidence you give your subconscious of, I was an only child, I was the most important thing, I mattered, I was always safe, The more evidence you provide your subconscious of that in your childhood, the less drama of whatever kind you're going to experience in your life, because then you'll see someone else who happens to look nice and you'll just say, oh, they look nice, and it won't mean anything. And
that's
even
what I want to get to, yeah.
right,
Admire you, that's okay, yeah. To admire you.
That's it, yeah.
Not to affect me, yeah.
And here's another thing, is that we can only receive love, compliments, praise, affection to the extent that we allow ourselves to have it from our childhood experiences. In other words, somebody could say to you, you are the most beautiful woman in this room, and you will discount it in some way. You'll block it because it doesn't fit with the childhood references, with the proof and evidence. Okay. Now, once you change that and someone says, you are the most beautiful woman in this room, you'll go, oh, thank you. And it'll make perfect sense because you've got proof in your childhood. Okay. That it's safe to allow to feel that way, to, you know, there's proof that it's true. Does that make sense?
Well, it would, I don't know, but I think it would be lovely to experience that.
Yes.
I really do. Yeah.
Yes. And remember that, you know, with our technique, the blueprint visualization, whatever you want now, you need to create that same feeling, memories in your childhood with that same feeling. So you want to feel like you are valuable, respected, acknowledged. Whatever it is now, you need to create childhood memories, new childhood memories of your parents and everybody else treating you that way, so that your subconscious has proof. Because at the moment, you're trying to admire someone without feeling any negative emotions. You're trying to hear someone else compliment them without feeling bad about yourself. But as you are trying consciously to do that, your subconscious is referring to so-called evidence that it's not true. And it's not safe.
Sorry, I don't know anything about this blueprint visualization.
Okay, so it's part of the Remmert method, and it's actually part of what we provide for the one-to-one clients. But the basis of it is, whatever you want to experience now, you create memories in your childhood of this thing. So if you want to be healthy now, you create childhood memories. You go, okay, so what's that? And then you go to your childhood and you create memories of your parents being healthy, you being healthy as a child because you learned it from them. You all went hiking together as a family, whatever it is you want now. So, you know, visualization, the way it's taught normally with the law of attraction and other modalities, is kind of backwards. Because it's, you know, you're imagining the future, you're visualizing the future, but as you're visualizing the future, your past is contradicting it. And your past is the proof of who you are and how the world works, because you have experience of it. So that, to your subconscious, your past is the real thing. That's why you change your past. You use that visualization, but you do it in your childhood. And then it's nothing wrong with doing it in the future as well, but you need to change that childhood, because as long as you've got a destination that you want to get to, but your GPS coordinates are saying something else, you're going to keep being turned around and taken back to where you were. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So keep looking in your childhood and changing that. And then looking here, has it changed? No, it hasn't. Then there's something else here. Let me change it again. Let me make sure that the whole childhood supports what I want now.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
So if you're growing, if you've got plants in a garden and they're weeds, if you keep cutting the leaves and the stem, it's not going to help, because the weeds will just keep growing, right? What you've got to do is pull out the whole weed by the root and plant flowers. And if you're still seeing weeds, it means there's still some root left of the weed. So you just do it again until you see flowers. And then you know, right, that was the right seeds. All right. Okay. Good job. Thank you for sharing that. You're welcome, love. And Lisa. Hi, Lisa. How are you today?
Fine. How are you?
Good job. Good. Yes, thank you.
Hey, I'm having so much fun listening to everybody and learning so much, and you have some really powerful tools for us all to go refer back to our childhood and be badasses and come back into this state and just have such a good time, because people keep giving me toys and stuff because it's so funny because I never even said anything. So I think that's funny that I'm physically getting like signs, you know.
Yes.
And yeah, it's very important to go back and totally shift the childhood, but you just take practice, and it's but you can make so much fun out of it, you know. So such a good time. I was listening to Tina, and I love when she speaks, because she makes me think about, wow, you know, this is so awesome that, you know, I learn a lot from her and everybody else. But anyway, I was thinking like she could look when she's lying in bed, looking at the ceiling and have hearts cut out like Valentine's Day, you know, putting little, you know, little suggestions like, hey, you know, I wake up in a happy love state, and you know, like in The Secret, where Jack Canfield had his money up there, you know.
That's right. That's a fantastic idea. Thank you, Lisa.
Sure. So that was fun. So anyway, that's it, because I'm just enjoying this gathering. It's really good, very good.
Thank you, Lisa, and thank you for contributing that. That's a fabulous idea. And yes, so great idea. Put, you know, things on your ceiling, and stars or hearts or whatever, and that'll remind you when you first wake up. Wonderful. And Chris, hi Chris.
Hello.
How are you today?
Oh, well, I'm so pleased that I'm with you after all this time. So, gosh, I can see there's lots of us here. So what I'd like you all to aim at is, I'm during this shutdown period, I'm living with my youngest daughter and my granddaughter. So while she works, I do childcare. However, the situation is that it's sort of a reversal of what I was experiencing with my own mother. She is experiencing with me. I think everyone here might get the picture. And she's also you know, she gives me lots of feedback.
Yeah.
But it's really hard for her. Yeah. It's hard in a good way for me, because it's given me lots of material. Yes. And I've got you guys and these daily source of really great help. But it's tough on her. She's going through so much. So if you could all put your superpower in that direction, I'd appreciate it very much.
Of course, Chris. Thank you for that. Yes. So Steve, you've got that added to the list. Very good. And it's so lovely to see you, Chris. You're looking fabulous.
It's a heat wave today.
Ah, lovely. Lovely. Good. All right. Thank you, Chris. And so we'll give that an aim. And of course, I know you're very experienced in this work. So I know that you know to keep yourself in a state of superpower, and of course, check your childhood for whatever's going on. So in addition to, like you say, she's experiencing what you experienced with your mother, also check yourself. What are you experiencing with her? And check your childhood for that, because she may be representing also your mother or some other relationship or experience from your childhood. And of course, change that and practice the new one. Does that make sense?
Oh, yes. Yeah, no, thanks. That's good. Oh, and just for Lisa, I've got her idea about the water bottle, so I'm sipping my superpower.
Oh, good.
Really good.
Yeah.
Oh, and also, sorry, I was listening to yesterday's session this morning, and so what's the Swasti? Swasti spoke about her sense of a fog. And do you remember there was someone quite a few weeks ago, who spoke about a spray, superpower spray?
Yes, that was Cheryl.
I used that. Yeah, oh, Cheryl, that's good. She could use the spray as well.
That's right.
I use that too. So there's a couple of things I'm using.
Yes, good. Thank you.
Right,
thanks for reminding us about that. Good job. All right, and then Cheryl, hello. How are you today?
I'm doing very well. If you'll look around, no bee.
No bee. Fantastic.
I
that
know.
lovely?
I can't wait to do the mosquitoes later. That was so funny. Wanda cracks me up. So, a couple things. I'm wearing a cape. You don't see it probably, but it's my Superpower cape. I noticed that I've been wearing it all the time in my head. Like I'll just be standing there like, I'm a Superpower woman. So
Good.
the other thing I noticed is today when you said go into the Superpower, I just picked myself as a little girl as my target. So is that okay? Yeah.
That is perfect. And that is actually in the Superpower course, that is, I believe, intermediate level anyway. That is one of the levels. Yes.
I've gone up the ladder a little bit.
You've leveled up. So fantastic. Yes. So everybody else as well, if you're able to use the little you as your subject, so much better.
Yeah, my cousin had sent me this picture of me and I fell in love with the picture and I've just really fallen in love with her. And so I feel really good about that. The other thing I wanted to tell you guys was, the thing about the bee is really awesome. I'm really happy about that. But also I have this little, sleeping mask my daughter gave me. So, Tina, this worked for me this morning. So I woke up earlier than I wanted to. And I kind of was like, I had a dream. I was dreaming about my dad. And when I woke up, I realized in my dream, there was no discomfort between me and my dad. So before I went to sleep, I had done I did my dad reading a bedtime story to all of us and my mom brushing my hair. Good. And I woke up and I thought, this is really nice. So I put on this little mask and I was kind of referring to it as my my camera from my childhood memories. So I put it on this morning and I practiced some more reframing of the childhood memories. And I did that for, I don't know, like a half hour and I felt really good about it.
Fantastic. Oh, excellent. Well done, Cheryl.
Yeah.
Yes, so anything one can do to remind you, especially that, last thing at night, first thing in the morning, and setting the intention the night before, like Steve says, and like in your case, by wearing that mask to remind yourself and so on. Anything you can do to remind yourself, is good. So well done. Because the biggest challenge we have with making any core significant changes that we want to make is remembering to do it, number one, and then number two, overriding any resistance to do it anyway. Those are the two biggest challenges. So so thank you for sharing that, Cheryl. That's an excellent idea.
And I just want to tell you one more thing. Yesterday, I gave away the dog bowl.
Good job. Well
and my friend was so happy about it. She kept trying to give me money for it, but I said, no, thank you. No, thank you. I don't know if that was bad, but.
So what made you not take the money if she wanted to give you money?
I don't know. I guess, I don't know. I mean, I don't feel bad about it. She's done a lot for me. So I just felt like I wanted to give back to her.
Okay.
And
sorry. Les.
Yeah. So but then after I thought, did you reject money? But then about, I don't know, shortly after the mail came and it was from my son's college and they sent a check for $1,000 to help us through the coronavirus.
Very good.
So,
all right. So what I want to say about the money and your friend wanting to give you money. So here's a way of looking at that situation that can help, and it can help others as well. And it certainly helped me because I used to have that, don't pay me. I don't want to,
I was like, no.
Yeah. So here's what it is. When you give someone a compliment and they go, oh no, it's just and they brush it off. How does that feel when you're giving a gift to someone and they're going, I don't want your gift. And so when somebody wants to pay you and they're going, no, please let me pay you, it's going to make them, when they are insisting like that, it's about their feeling, not about you receiving, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
And if you've ever tried to pay someone for something that they don't want to accept it and you really want to pay them, you'll know that feeling.
Okay, so it's almost like I have to probably it'll work if I think of her feelings.
Right. And you know, there's nothing wrong with saying, oh no, it's all right, it's a gift. But if they then go, no, I really want to pay, hear what they're saying and accept that and go, well, okay, then thank you very much. That's
funny because she's been going to the grocery store, and every time she goes, she asks me if I need something. And I've been giving her a little bit extra every time because I feel like I should. And so the next time she comes, she'll say, oh, it was only $5. And I'm like, no, it wasn't. But she was so, I think she wanted to give it back to me.
Yes. And
I felt like, oh, so I see what you're saying.
And so what's happening there is both of you, your programs are playing together.
Yeah.
Right? She's obviously got programs as well about it. So it's going back and forth and you're dancing, so, which is okay. But if you want to change your patterns and because it's not just about that, that will be an indication of references that are affecting other things in your life, including money, of course. So, and again, it's probably not about the money. So if you go back to your childhood, that feeling of receiving praise, affection, what does it mean? You know, you can look for that, change it, because money usually represents a person or affection or safety or love, attention, that kind of thing.
All
Very
right. Thank
good.
you.
Thank you for sharing that, Cheryl, and well done. Good job. All right, and so now we go to the chat. Let's see. So Odille, I'm feeling a lot of resistance listening to the suggestions of imagining that I was the most popular and people flock to me. I get a feeling of it's not safe. Good one, very good one, and thank you for sharing that. So this is what to do about that. That feeling of it's not safe to have attention. Where in your childhood did you have that? Now, there can be variations on this. This can be abuse because it's, you know, if you've got negative or even just ordinary punishment, if the attention causes some kind of pain, of whatever pain, emotional pain, physical pain, mental pain, then your brain may have linked getting attention with pain, which means you do whatever you know, it's not safe for people to be looking at me. And that program, that link is very, very common. A lot of people have that. And so then it's a case of looking into your childhood. When was it not safe for people to be looking at you, for you to be drawing attention? Sometimes it's criticisms. Sometimes it's a parent or grandparent going, you're just showing off. You do whatever you can to get attention or whatever, you know, those kind of things. So look at those kind of things, change them to the opposite, positive and empowering, and practice those new ones. During this session, you can send love to it first, which is going to make it easier to change. All right, so I hope that helps. And then once you've changed that, then try again, imagining being popular and everybody loves you and that, and see if you've still got that feeling of it's not safe, then there's still another reference for that. Have a look at why it's not safe. So bullying is another, being bullied at school can be another reference for it's not safe to be noticed. It's, you know, don't let them see you. Okay, so I hope that helps, but if not, let me know. And then there's some love for Sue. That's good. Love the countdown. Yep, the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 from Melanie. That's is it Melanie? Yes, Melanie. Yeah. Then put hearts on the ceiling above the bed. So thank you for sharing that, Lisa. I will read it out because there's a bit more detail here. Lisa suggests for Tina and whoever else, put hearts on the ceiling above the bed with the words love drawn. Draw them in rainbow colors or your favorite color, so that when you wake up, it's a fun reminder. That's such a great idea. Thank you. And then Sue says, Tina, I used to wake up every morning with a sense of dread. And as soon as I felt it, I would sing that song, oh, what a beautiful morning. Oh, what a beautiful day. I've got a beautiful feeling. Everything's going my way. That's a fantastic idea. Good, good idea. Thank you, Sue, for sharing that. And then Carrie, you may use my name. No targets today, but just a couple of comments. I've noticed that I can't always tell the moment when I lose my superpower, but I can always tell when I'm in it. Does this make sense? Okay, so yes, it makes sense. So, and the reason for that is because right now, being in your superpower is unusual. Being out of it is the norm. Now, I had this where I used to have fibromyalgia, and I was always in a lot of pain. And the only time I wasn't in pain was when I was in a hot bath. And then if I was once I got out of the bath, over time, the pain came back. So the pain was constant. Now, here's the interesting thing is, one day I suddenly realized that I hadn't been feeling the pain for, I didn't know how long. And it was because, but it had been a while. And it was because I hadn't noticed it go. I noticed it when it was there. But when it went, it was like, I didn't even notice it go. So we tend to, when something becomes normal, and we don't notice it anymore. And if your normal is stress or worry or fear or whatever, you'll be experiencing it, but it's not like, so, okay, something's different here. So we are designed to pay attention to something that's new for survival purposes, and anything we're used to is not part of what we're consciously registering. So it is literally just because you're not used to it. When that balance shifts to where being in a state of unconditional love, being in your superpower is the new normal for you, you'll only notice it when you're triggered. You'll only notice when you're not in it. So the answer to that is, again, put little reminders for yourself. Like I was saying to Tina, put it on the bathroom mirror, on the coffee machine, on your phone, put alarms in your phone, whatever it takes to remind yourself. Wear a bracelet. You can wear a little bracelet that reminds you, whatever, and keep changing those things. Because again, the brain gets used to seeing that sign and then you don't register it anymore. So what I've suggested to other people is put surprise notes for yourself. So put a note in your shoe or in your pocket or in the coffee tin so that you'll forget about it, and then you'll open it and then you'll remember, and then you've got that choice to do it in the moment to get back into that state. So I hope that helps. And that, in addition to tying it in with things you're already doing, brushing your teeth, going to the loo, drinking water, drinking coffee, driving, don't close your eyes while you're driving, obviously, but whatever you are already doing as a habit, tie in your put a note to remind yourself to do it while you're doing that, so that your brain makes that connection. And then you'll find that one day you're brushing your teeth and you're all automatically in the superpower. You automatically go into it. So I hope that helps. And would you please target my feelings of being ignored by my mother? Yes. Steve, you got that on the list? For Katrina, thank you. And yes, bullying, how would that be changed to opposite empowering? Sorry, but it's not easy to come up with a positive scenario. I love your story, Odille, about the lack of pain. So inspiring. Good. And it's no trouble at all. I love coming up with suggestions for new memories. So no trouble at all. So with the bullying, do the back and forth with the superpower first. So you go into the superpower state by imagining you're hugging someone you love or something you love, or however you get into it. And then go very briefly to the, pick one memory that represents the bullying and go very briefly. Don't spend more than 2 seconds. Just notice if there's any negative emotions, and if so, how strong they are. Then come back to press pause on that, come back to the superpower. Keep doing that back and forward until you go to the bullying memory and there's no negative emotions left anymore. And then what you're aiming for is that instead of being bullied, you were all playing a game, you were doing an activity of some kind that was fun. So, and remember that there's your subconscious can't use logic or reason or judge something as unrealistic. So it will believe whatever you give it. So It could be a water fight. You could all be playing with puppies. You could have horses. You could, whatever would be lovely. The important thing is you want to end up where that bully was admiring you, cheering you on, wanting to be with you, praising you, something like that. Now, you may need a stepping stone if that's difficult. So if you can't change it to that, use the stepping stone of you stood up for yourself or someone else, your superhero, your hero, somebody you admire, Arnold Schwarzenegger or Bruce Willis, or someone turned up and protected you and dealt with the bully for you. But you do still want to move from there to where the bully was never a bully. And one of the things that can help with that is if they had been raised differently, if they'd been treated differently as a child, they would not have been a bully. So that can help your conscious mind to allow those changes. So I hope that helps. Odille, what you said about my own mother references, interestingly, I've created a mum who is very like the best of my daughter. That is mischievous, cheeky, fun-loving, giggly, loves surprises, makes excuses for fun. This is my daughter at her best, very good, and without realizing the mother I created. I like that idea as it's merging the past, present, and potential future. Your thoughts? Okay, so yes, I think that's a wonderful idea. That's fantastic. And then what I think with your daughter at the moment, so whatever's going on there, make sure that you are in the superpower state as much as you can, and then send love to fill her with love, even when she is doing whatever she's doing. In other words, even when she's stressed or she's reacting in a particular way, maintain your superpower state as much as you can. Shine that light into the darkness, even if it looks like it's not changing. And eventually something will change. All right? Because also for everybody else, remember that darkness cannot survive in light, but a light can shine in the dark. So whatever you're experiencing that you don't want, see that as darkness. And as long as you are shining light, that darkness cannot stay in the same form. It will either change or it will go away or something will change. Your experience of it will change in some way because it can't survive in the light. All right. And looking at, I get into the superpower state and see Thor from the Avengers, very good, and turn any bullies into fleas. Oh, okay, the time. Oh, I'm so sorry. Thank you for the reminder of the time. Yes, so I've been, this talking has been taking a little bit long, but let's do the, I hope I've got everybody, but if not, let me know. And Steve, if you could send me the target list, please. And let's do it. Okay, so everybody take a deep breath and go into your superpower state. However you get into it, using your word or phrase or the new anchor, or imagining hugging your subject. And feel your heart expanding. That light shining out from your heart. And allow that light to spread down to your toes and up to the top of your head and out to your fingertips. Fill every cell of your body with that light, that energy. Love each cell just for existing. Now fill the little you with that same light, that energy, that love. Love that little you just for existing. And now fill your subject with that same light or energy. Love your subject just for existing. And now imagine that subject doesn't want to be with you. They're rejecting you, or they're miserable, whatever the case is, and keep them filled with that light, that energy anyway. Love them anyway. Good job. Now let's go to Sue. Fill Sue with that light, that energy, from the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love Sue just for existing. And allow that light or energy to fill whatever's causing the lack of confidence in Sue. Whatever it is now, whatever it is in her childhood, fill it all with that light. Shine the light into the darkness and love it all anyway. Whether she gains confidence or not, whether it changes or not, love it all anyway, exactly as it is. Very good. And now over to Tina. Fill Tina with that same light, that energy, from the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Fill Tina with that light and love Tina just for existing. And now think of Tina tomorrow morning waking up and fill that version of Tina with that same light, that energy. Love that version of Tina just for existing, whether she feels fear or not. Love her anyway. Very good job. Now over to Wanda. Fill Wanda with that same light, that energy, from the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love Wanda just for existing. And now allow that light or energy to overflow from Wanda and fill all the mosquitoes, from the tips of their tiny, tiny feet to the tips of their wings to the tips of their stingers. Love them just for existing. Whether they kill people or not, shine the light into that darkness. Love them all anyway. Love the people anyway. Fill the whole situation with love and light, shining the light into the darkness. This is your power. Feel that power. Very good. And now to Katrina. Fill Katrina with that same light or energy, from the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love Katrina just for existing. And now fill the feeling of not being good enough. Whatever that is, fill it all with light, that energy. Love it exactly as it is, whether it changes or not. And now send that light or energy into Katrina's childhood. Fill the little Katrina with that same light, that energy, whether she feels ignored or not. And allow that light or energy to overflow from that little Katrina and fill everything and everyone around her with that power, including her mum, from the tips of her mum's toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love Katrina's mum just for existing, whether she ignores her daughter or not. Love it all anyway, shining that bright light. Good job. And now over to Lisa. Fill Lisa with that same light, that energy, from the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love Lisa just for existing. Very good. And now over to Chris. Fill Chris with that same light, that energy, from the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love Chris just for existing. And now allow that light or energy to overflow from Chris and fill her daughter with that same light, that energy, from the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love Chris's daughter just for existing. No matter what, even if nothing changes, shine that light. Love it all anyway. Very, very good. And now over to Cheryl. Fill Cheryl with that same light, that energy, from the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love Cheryl just for existing. Very, very good. And allow that light or energy to fill whatever was stopping Cheryl from receiving abundance, from receiving money, from receiving whatever's there. Fill it all with light and energy. And fill Cheryl's childhood with that same light or energy, whatever may be causing the resistance to receiving now. Fill it all with that love. Love it all just for existing, no matter what. Good job. And now, to the person who said they were finding it difficult to imagine being popular and receiving attention and people flocking to her, fill that person with the same light, the energy from the tips of their toes to the top of their head and out to their fingertips. Love them just for existing, no matter what. Whether they are able to change those memories or not, love it all anyway. Love those memories anyway, and everyone involved. The bullying, love the bullying, fill the bully with light, shining the light into darkness. Remember, this is not an emotion, this is a power. Aim your power at whatever triggers you into the darkness. Very good. And then to Carrie, fill Carrie with that same light, that energy, from the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love Carrie just for existing. And allow that light, that energy to fill Carrie even when she doesn't notice that she's lost the superpower. Even when she doesn't notice she's no longer in the superpower state, love that version of Carrie as well, just for existing, no matter what. Good. And now open your hearts even more and receive the love from me, the light, the energy from me, loving you exactly as you are, no matter what. Feel that energy, that light, that love filling you up. You're safe, you're loved, no matter what. Good job. All right. So I'm sorry we went over a little bit today, well, quite a bit, but hopefully it was useful. And we will see you again tomorrow. And of course, so between now and tomorrow, practice as much as you can, aim at everything, and sending you lots of love. Aim at each other as well when you think of it. All right, very, very good. Oh, thank you for sharing the article. Yes, so there's an article there in the chat if anybody would like to have a look at that on Medium, an article I wrote this morning called Fear is Not the Answer. So if you'd like to check that out, that would be great. All right, lots of love to everybody. Bye-bye now.